Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Apologies for the slightly late video. I would have recorded this earlier, but I was in the air flying back from Poland. So I've got back home a little bit late, but I thought better late than never. We've got to go through some of the latest news regarding the club, some of the latest transfer news as well. We have finally got a here we go. I say that as if we've been waiting for a long time. This is a very early deal in the grand scheme of things. I mean, we haven't actually had to wait long at all. We've been very proactive, to be fair. Fabrizio Romano's come out and said, here we go, regarding Liam Delap to Chelsea. Agreement in place as a £30 million release clause will be triggered. Manchester City will not use the buyback clause, and Delap has already accepted Chelsea's project. Long-term deal, Maresca's impact, plus UEFA Champions League football were key. Delap will join Chelsea Football Club. It says Liam Delap will sign his Chelsea contract in the next 24 hours, as Ipswich Town have now authorised medical tests. Man City will get 30% of the deal, as they had a sell-on clause included in the agreement with Ipswich Town. Buyback clause won't be activated. Delap will join Chelsea Football Club. So, listen, this is massive. Absolutely massive. Not as massive as some of you wanted. We appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I do think this is a good signing. And I say a good signing. Not a great signing. Not a outstanding signing. It's a good signing. The question is this where it all stops? Is this where it stops? Do Chelsea just look at this player and go, okay, right, we've signed this guy. That's it. You know, we don't really need to press on. We don't need to look to sign any more players or bring other players in. But that is not the case, that we're going to stop signing players, even according to Fabrizio Romano, who says that Chelsea remain interested in the situation of Hugo Ekitike at Frankfurt at the moment. It's not something advanced, but from next week we'll understand more. But Chelsea remain informed. We're also very keen on Jamie Gittins from Dortmund. He's one of the players that we have on our list. So he's another player that we're considering. In terms of the striker as well, not short term, but for next season, Chelsea are looking to potentially pre-sign Omega from Strasbourg as well this summer. But that deal he will become a Chelsea player in 2026. We'll loan him back out to Strasbourg. So yeah, loads going on in a short space of time. Look, we've spoken so much about strikers, and the names that have been thrown around are Delap, Osimhen, Gyökeres, Ekitike, Sesko. Jonathan David has come up a little bit as well. I'm trying to think if I've missed anyone off the top of my head. Those are the main ones I can think of right now. Let me know if I've missed one out. And based on what we're seeing, I mean, first of all, we weren't even told this originally by Fabrizio or any of these guys. We actually found out in Poland directly from Egbali that he liked Delap and he was interested in Delap, because a Chelsea fan called Ruben bumped into him. A number of Chelsea fans bumped into Egbali as well. He took a number of photos, and embraced Chelsea fans. Was actually happy to have a chat. Maybe because he's really happy we've got Champions League. He can, he's got something. He's got a little bit more pride. You can confront the fan base when you know that you've achieved the bare minimum. Let's just put it like that, as opposed to another failure of a season. So he's actually come out and already said that he's interested in Delap, according to one of the fans who posted on X about 2 days ago. And that deal now is pretty much there. So Fabrizio said it's happening. There is interest from Ipswich in terms of bringing Mark Guiu to the Championship side, but not on a permanent deal, on a loan deal, which I think Chelsea might consider doing. I don't really know if they're entirely open to Mark Guiu going to a Championship squad, but listen, if you're looking to bring in another striker as well, I don't think Mark Guiu's really got much of a place in that sense. But listen, I mean, just going back to Liam Delap as well, he's the magic. He's the man of the moment. He's a player that ultimately I think a lot of fans will be satisfied with. I know not everybody is going to be over the moon because he's not Osman, but let's paint ourselves a bit of a picture here. He is 22 years old. He is a young English player who's played in the Premier League for one of the worst teams and still managed to perform. He's a player who embodies a similar style of play. We're not saying he's as good, but a similar style to that of what we had with Diego Costa, trying to rough up defenders, getting physical, bullying players, and dominating in that sense. I mean, for those of you who don't believe me, watch back the Ipswich game when we lost in December, or was that the New Year? Delap absolutely dismantled us and was by far the best player on the pitch. It was just totally, it was always going to be against us, wasn't it? It was always going to be against us. And it happened. So I can imagine that seeing that performance as well probably opened a few eyes in terms of the scouting department to whether we would bring this player in. But listen, he's got, a decent amount of goals in the Premier. He's got about 12, 13 goals. And I think that you will see a player who's going to get at least 15 for Chelsea. And based on the fact that Nicholas Jackson hasn't even got 15, if Delap can get that number, which I think he can, you'd probably argue that he'd be starting, quite a lot of games ahead of Nicholas Jackson. Now we know that Delap, in terms of the conversations I'm having with other fans, at least, he's not the guy who should be starting every week at Chelsea. He should be an option. He should be a player that we can bring on and use to rotate. But we don't bring up the names of Osman and Gyökeres for nothing. We bring them up because they are experienced, they've proven themselves, and they score a ridiculous amount of goals. When we talk about these guys, we're not talking about 12 goals in a season in the league. We're talking about 30 goals, 40 goals. And that is where I think there'll be a lot of frustration. Osman just won't happen from what I'm seeing. I just can't see how that deal will happen. You've got to look at Clearlake, what they like. They like deals that don't just work on a footballing side, but work on a financial side and the age bracket as well. And that's obviously why Delap is attractive, because if Delap was going for 50 million like João Pedro or a similar amount, we wouldn't be interested. He had a cheap release clause of 30 million. We took advantage of it. It's smart business, and it's an opportunity that I think clearly we're always going to pounce at. I am actually surprised in a way that we've got Delap, because there was so much news about him going to Manchester United. He preferred life up north, all this sort of stuff. He would have easily been the number one there, and I actually think he would have suited Ruben Amorim's style quite well. But on a footballing side, I mean, you can't really argue against what Chelsea are offering over a lot of our competitors. I know Newcastle won a trophy as well, but we are a bigger club. We're a better club, and we won a European trophy as well. So every year under Clearlake, we started off finishing 12th, then we finished 6th, got to a cup final, couldn't quite win it. Then we finished 4th. And we won a European Cup. I don't think there's any doubt that there's been clear progression, and I'm sure that Delap probably sees that and thinks, oh, if that's what Chelsea have done this season, and they've progressed every year over the past 3, what's in store next season? Are we going to be challenging for more titles? Are we even going to be in a title race? This might be something that he's considering, but I think ultimately we have to look at this deal and try and put ourselves in the shoes of the owners and what they're thinking. And financially, it just makes perfect sense. I don't know anything about the wages with Delap. That hasn't become public as of yet, but we know it's going to be a long-term contract, and that tends to be 7 years or more. So I would be surprised if it's less than a 7-year deal. I would honestly say 7 to 8 years. As a contract, and that will probably be what Delap's on, and he'll be on over 100 grand. His current contract at Ipswich was on roughly 45 grand a week, so he'll easily double, if not triple, his money, and that will take him into a lower bracket than Cole Palmer. But again, this is all about the incentivized contracts as well. maybe you'll get that 20% bump because we are in the Champions League and we have those extra funds. But this is the thing. We're not just going to settle with Delap according to what I'm seeing. We are still interested in Ekatike. And if we're interested in spending money on a player who Frankfurt value at £84 million, then why are you not spending 60 million on Gorkarez, or even considering the opportunity to have a conversation with Osserman and see if he's willing to negotiate? Any of these other players, can we just get some experience, guys? Because who is Delap going to look up to? Jacko? Jacko? He is not the man for Delap to strive to be. No offense. I like Jackson. I do like him, but he's not going to win you a title. He's a good player, and I think he can help us. I think he's a player that, causes a lot of issues. But he's not the striker who you can say, this is the guy that's going to win me the league. I don't feel that way about Delap either. But at least now that I know that I've gone from having one striker who can score 15 goals a season to 2. And that's 30 goals. And that is an improvement on what we've had. So I think Mark Gear will probably end up going, not necessarily to Ipswich, but he'll go on loan. And we'll probably see another striker coming in. But the question is, are we going to have a real competition between 3 similar level strikers, all young, relatively unproven at the highest level? Or are we just going to bite the bullet and spend some money? If you want to offload players as well, you're going to have spare cash to pay the wages. Hopefully get rid of Sterling, Chilwell. We've got Disasi, Badiashile. Apparently we're open to selling him as well. Dewsbury Hall. Sanchez. There's a lot of players that we can get rid of. So maybe this is something that we'll see happening later on. We just wanted to get a striker in before the Club World Cup anyway. It'll be interesting to see what happens there, because Delap is going to be involved in the under-21 England squad, but Chelsea have the power to stop that from happening. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, me personally, if I'm going to rate this signing out of 10, I give it a 7. I think it's decent. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's decent. And I think it does improve us. Anyone who says it doesn't improve us, that's not true. It improves us. But the question is, does it improve us enough to win a Premier League title? And the answer to that is no. But it does put us one step closer. And if you bring in another striker, this looks like an extraordinary window, because you have not only signed one striker, you've signed 2. And 2 strikers that we can ultimately get behind. In terms of having a backup option and having a proper number 9 that we can count on as well. But that's what we're waiting for now. We're waiting for the big one. But this seems like a smart signing to me. I don't have an issue with it, but we've got to see if we can strive for a little bit more. So let me know what you think, guys. Rate the signing of Liam Delap from 1 to 10. Are you happy? Are you unhappy? And what do you think we're going to do next? All the best, guys, and we will catch up very, very